Hello. Hello. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, yes.
Sir,
Yeah.
JE is on February 22nd, sir.
Okay. February 22nd.
Yes, sir.
Is it came application date?
Today it will start. It was given in NTA website.
Okay. February CBSE exams?
So CBSE didn't announce.
Not announced. Okay. 22nd, I think. 1 month, 10 days postponed, right? Last year conducted in January 10. Yeah. Just 40 days it is postponed.
So 4 times it will be.
What?
So it will be 4 times. Like 4 shifts.
Okay. 4 shift. Yeah. Syllabus is confirmed. Syllabus. JE syllabus.
So it will be same but they'll give optional questions for every subject.
JE also.
Yes, sir. 5 questions optional.
Okay.
For each subject, 5 questions.
Okay, I will check once. What is the syllabus and paper pattern? Next concept is orbital filling. Okay, here we have mainly 3 rules. First one is Aubo principle. How to fill electrons in an orbitals of an atom is explained by 3 rules. The first rule is Aubo principle. According to this rule, lower energetic orbitals are first filled. Then higher electrons are going into higher energetic orbital. So energy of an orbital is equal to N plus L. Applying N plus L rule. So 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 2p, 3p, 4p, 5p, 6p, 7p, 3d, 4d, 5d, 6d, 4f, 5f. So 1s is the lower energetic orbital. First electrons are going into 1s orbital. Then after 2s orbital, then electron is going into 2p. After 3s, 3p, 4s. After filling of 4s, electron is going into 3d, 4p, 5s. Then 4d, 5p, 6s. 4f, 5d, 6p. 638s. So we'll check here energy of orbital. So after filling of 3p orbitals, electrons are going into 4s, not going into 3d. Generally, these are the main shells. Here 1s orbital, 2s, 2p, here 3s, 3p, 3d orbital is present in third shell. In fourth shell, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f is there. Generally, how you think after filling 3s, electron is going into 3p, then 3d. But it is wrong. After filling 3p, electron is going into 4s. After filling 4s, again back electrons back into third shell. So that we can explain with the help of energy, n plus n rule. 4s and 3d. Apply here n plus l rule. 4 plus s is 0. So total value 4 only. 3d, 3 plus l value for d orbital is 2, 5. So the bigger the number, higher the energy. So according to above principle, electrons are first going into low energetic orbitals. 4s, after filling 4s, then electrons comes to 3d orbital. Okay, then second rule is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Maximum multiplicity. I think you know this. Electron pairing not takes place in an p orbital, even in d and f orbitals, before half filling. Suppose p orbital, first electron is going here, second electron, third electron is, this is the correct filling, p3. This is not correct. p4. First prefers half filling, then fourth electron is going for pairing. In case of d orbital, first 5 electrons prefers, or first 5 electrons are going into one orbital each, and sixth electron is only undergoing for pairing of electron. D f orbitals, first 7 electrons are going for half filling of orbitals, then 8th electron is involving in pairing. I think you know about Hund's rule, no need to much explanation about this. Next one, Pauli's exclusive principle. And here one word, maximum multiplicity, means first going electrons, all 3 electrons in case of p orbital, they maintain same spin. Either they follow plus of all 3, or that all 3 electron may have minus of, but mixed is not possible. So one is upward direction, second downward, upward. This kind is not accepted. That's only meaning maximum multiplicity. Spin multiplicity should be higher here. 3 1 by 2 is 3 by, yeah, this is 3 by 2. This is also minus 3 by 2. But here only 1 by 2 is left. This cancel. So this is not accepted. Last one, Pauli's exclusion principle. So it having two definitions. The first definition is no two electrons in an atom have same four quantum numbers. Suppose if we select one atom, any two electrons not having a same quantum numbers. For suppose electronic configuration of boron, 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. We will select two electrons and write its quantum numbers. I'm selecting one electron from this one and one electron from 2s. First writing 2s, two electrons. Only one electron electronic quantum numbers only I'm writing. N value here 2. L value is 0. M value for s orbital 0. Spin -1/2. Next, second electron here 2s2 1. This is one electron. Second electron is n is equal to 2, L is equal to 0, M is equal to 0. Spin, okay, first one plus 1/2, right? Second one -1/2. So of course, three quantum numbers may be same, but fourth quantum number must be different. Okay, suppose if I write for here 1s2. First electron is n is equal to 1, L is equal to 0, M is equal to 0, S is equal to +1/2. Second electron, n is equal to 1, L is equal to 0, M is equal to 0, S is equal to -1/2. And 2p1, n is equal to 2, L is equal to 1, M is equal to, maybe anyone who may take either +1, -1 or 0. Spin +1/2. So to 5 electrons, I wrote all 5 quantum numbers. Look here, is any two electrons having same quantum numbers? It's impossible. That is one Pauli's exclusive principle. And another definition is, in each orbital, only two electrons can accommodate, and those also having opposite spins. So I'll writing electrons in a box. Means in each box we are giving only two electrons. It means one box is one orbital. In each orbital, only two electrons can accommodate. Those two electrons also maintains opposite spin. Suppose one is +1/2, another one is -1/2. Okay. We know half-filled orbitals and completely filled orbitals are more stable. That also having reason. This is only my 3 points. Filling of orbitals in an atom is only we have 3 principles. First one is Above principle. According to Above principle, low energetic orbitals are first filled. Then electrons are going into higher energetic orbitals. So energy of orbital formula is n plus L. N plus L. Second one, Hund's rule. According to Hund's rule, first electrons half filling the orbital, then only addition of electron takes place. Pauli's exclusive principle, no two electrons in an atom having same quantum number. Another definition, in each orbital only two electrons can accommodate. Even the two electrons also maintains opposite spin. Half filled and completely filled. Orbitals are more stable. So it is explained with 2 points. The first point is they're having symmetry. Suppose if we take all 3 orbitals, p orbitals, px, py, pz. So all these 3 orbitals having equal energy. We can say these are degenerate orbital. Even in d subshell also, it having 5 orbitals, all 5 having equal energies. F having 7 subshells or 7 orbitals. Those are all 7 also having same energy. We can say they are degenerate orbitals. That's what this is somewhat stable. Another one is exchange energy. Suppose d orbital have 5 electrons. So this electron can exchange this position. Means electron is going here, this electron is coming here. This possibility is there. This also. And this electron can exchange this electron. This also, even this. Next, this electron. This electron can exchange this electron and this electron. And this electron can exchange this one. This is called exchange energy. Because one is due to symmetry of orbitals, another one exchange energy. If exchange energy increases, its stability also increases. Okay. Okay, here one question, answer this. Quantum numbers of 6 electrons are given below. Arrange them in the order of increasing energy. Quantum numbers. N is equal to 4, L is equal to 1, M is equal to 0, S is equal to plus 1 by 2. Right. N is equal to 4, sorry, L is equal to 2, M is equal to minus 2. N is equal to 3, L is equal to 2, M is 1, spin plus 1 by 2. N is equal to 4, L is equal to 1, M is equal to 0, spin plus 1 by 2. N equal to 3, L is equal to 2, M equal to minus 2, spin minus 1 by 2. L is equal to 1, M equal to minus 1, spin plus 1 by 2. So here asking, we need to increase, arrange these orbitals in the increasing order of their energy. I think these M values, S values are not required to determine energy of orbital. Okay, tell me what is the first orbital? N plus N equal to 4, L is equal to 2. What is orbital? What is orbital name? Tejashwini?
D.
D orbital. Which D orbital?
4D.
4D. This is 4D. Next one.
Three D.
And
4 plus 4P.
4P, correct. 4P. Next.
3D.
3D. Oh, here given same 3D, 3D. Okay. Next.
3P. Sir, is it 3P?
This is 3P. Okay. 3P.
Sir, third and sixth have same quantum number.
Hello?
Sir, third and sixth one have same quantum
Yeah. So one I will rub. One is not required. I'll do this and leave it. Next, sixth one.
4P.
4P. Now arrange this increasing order of their energies. Leave out this, no need. Arrange these 5 orbitals, increasing order of their energies. So we need to apply
third and sixth, sir.
third
All
and
4 are same. Third and sixth one.
okay. These are also given same. Third and sixth also. 1 minute.
Sir, even second and fourth.
It's okay, no problem. Also give no problem. We'll just arrange in equal energy those both. 4D, 4 plus 2, 6. 3 plus 2, 5. 4 plus 1, 5. So here earlier 3D, no? This is also 3 plus 2, 5. 3P, 3 plus 1, 4. 4 plus 1, 5. The lowest energetic orbital is 3P. So 3P is low energetic. Then we're all having number 5 only. 5, 5, 5, 5. Which is low energetic in this case. Suppose N plus L value is suppose same. We are observing the orbital which one having the higher N value, that is higher energetic. Now see this both are same only. 3 plus 2, no, sorry. This is 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2. Overall value 5, 5. In that case, we are observing N value. Here N is 3, here N is 4. So this is higher energetic. This is the lower energetic. So 3D is low energetic. This is also 3D. No need to write again. 3D. Next. Compare this. 4 plus 1. That is all. 4P. And high energetic 4D. That's all. Okay, so here many MCQ questions are there. After finishing chapter, I will explain. Okay, now see discovery of fundamental particles. The first topic is discovery of electron. So first, this experiment is carried out by the scientist William Crookes, but credit is goes to J.J. Thomson only because he only given all the properties of cathode rays. In this experiment, taking a 60 centimeter long glass tube. So this glass tube, two ends are fitted with metal plates. These are electrodes. So these both the electrodes are connected to high voltage. So to this glass tube, one side tube also there. This is connected to vacuum pump. Cathode, this is anode. Okay, so here it is connected to high voltage, 10,000 volts. Merely 10,000 voltage is connected to these electrodes, but here beginning maintaining 1 atmospheric pressure. So here air is there. Mixed air we may take, or any individual air also we may take. It's our choice. Here there is no electricity flows. Even applying high voltage at 1 atmospheric pressure, there is no flow of current. Now pressure is, with the help of vacuum pump, pressure in the glass tube is reduced to 0.1 atmosphere. Still electricity not flowing. So further it is reduced to 0.01. Low atmospheric pressure. Then electricity starts flowing. Some invisible rays are coming from cathode side, moving from cathode side to anode side. These rays only calling cathode rays. So further, these properties of cathode rays are given by the scientist J.J. Thomson. For this purpose, to explain its properties, here taking a perforated anode. Perforated anode means just anode only, but it having some holes. The anode plate, it having some holes. So behind of this cathode plate, anode plate, here on glass wall, coated with a fluorescence material. So some invisible rays are coming by supplying high voltage. Some invisible rays are coming from cathode, and these rays are passing through the holes of the anode. And when these rays strikes the glass wall, it is coated with fluorescence material. They produces some faint greenish color. So some colored glow is observed here. So this represents something, no doubt, some particles or some rays are coming from this plate side. Those are passing through holes. So further, its names are given as cathode rays. And if you observe its properties, like light rays, cathode rays also travels in a straight line. So in the place of cathode rays, if you keep any object, suppose you placed any object, it's giving its a shadow. Here shadow is formed. And this confirms the cathode rays are traveling in straight line. Next point. When we keep here any gas, by passing cathode rays, so this cathode rays having ability to ionize gaseous substance, so it can ionize. And when we apply in the path of cathode rays, suppose this is the path of cathode ray, suppose applied electric field, anode, cathode. Cathode rays are deflected towards anode plate side. So this indicates, this is a major important point. Cathode rays are carrying negative charge. That's why only when cathode ray is passed through electric field, that is deflected towards anode side, means attracted by anode. So it indicates, so cathode rays carries negative charge. Next. Suppose in the path of cathode rays, suppose place any small wheel with the help of any axle. Here one wheel is placed in the cathode rays. This wheel starts rotation. So it indicates this cathode rays constructed by some material particles. Suppose just if we pass normal light in the vacuum, taking the vacuum space here. Here suppose we keep any wheel. By supplying, or by suppose some light is passed on this wheel, I think this wheel not rotates. And by supply, suppose any air, it starts rotation, no? By supplying some air on this wheel starts rotation. It means a gaseous substance or air is made up of some massive particle. Here also, when cathode rays are passed on this wheel is starting rotation. It indicates cathode rays are constructed by some material particle, means it having some mass also. Cathode rays are constructed by material particles. Some other properties, suppose cathode rays are passed through thin foil, they having ability to penetrate through that foil. So if you maintain any thin foil like aluminum foil or very thin gold foils, cathode rays can penetrate through these foils. And suppose cathode rays are passed on thin plates, so it causes a heating effect. When cathode rays are passed on this thin plate will become hot. So these are the properties of cathode rays. Major important points are these two. First point, cathode rays travels in straight line. When cathode rays are passed through electric field, these are deflected towards anode. Anode means attracted towards anode plate side. It indicates cathode rays having negative charge. In the path of cathode rays, if you place small wheel made by mica, it starts rotation. It indicates cathode rays are constructed by some massive particles. Okay, next, it causes heating effect. It causes ionization of gases, and it have ability to penetrate through thin foils. These are the major points. Next, how to calculate charge of electron and mass of electron. Mass of electron was, so mass not charge of electron was discovered by Mulliken. So, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. I think this experiment you have in physics and chemistry, no need. They won't ask anything about Mulliken experiment. And next one is E by M ratio. This is a very important in this topic. E by M ratio of electron is note down, these values are useful. 1.76 into 10 power 8. This is the E by M ratio of electron. This is the charge. See, if you do E by M, it results M only, no? E by M. Charge of electron divided by E by M ratio of electron. It results E get cancelled, only will give mass. So if you apply this, charge of electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 divided by 1.76 into 10 power 8, it gives mass of electron 9.11 into 10 power minus 28 grams, or 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kilograms. This is mass of electron. So here E by M ratio of an electron is independent of the nature of the gas used in the discharge tube and the nature of the electrodes used in discharge tube. Very important point. Frequently asking MCQ questions based on E by M ratio. So just note down charge of electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs, and E by M ratio of electron is 1.76 into 10 power 8, and mass of electron. Important points here. E by M ratio of electron independent of nature of gas and nature of electrodes used in discharge tube experiment. Because electron is a universal particle, that's what it is independent. Okay, see why we call electron is a universal particle and it maintains a constant E by M ratio. So in the calculation of E by M ratio for protons, the value changes for different gases. They are giving different E by M ratio, but electrons always gives a fixed E by M ratio, 1.76 into 10 power 8. And because why it is a universal particle means, during the experiment, cathode rays are produced. That cathode rays are constructed by electrons. So whatever the material you take, by supplying a high voltage or by heating some elements or metals, they produces electrons. So that electron do not maintain any identity related to its metal. Suppose we take electron from sodium, and same electron will take from another metal, potassium. Is it having any identity? This electron is belongs to sodium, or this electron is belongs to potassium? No, it won't maintain such kind of identity. So the universe, all electrons maintain same mass, same 1 unit of negative charge, and they are giving always E by M ratio fixed value. In the discharge tube, suppose we take hydrogen gas, gives same E by M ratio. Suppose take oxygen gas, also same. Or take any metal, sodium gas, whatever we take, it is giving E by M ratio, same value only. So here we need to understand what is the origin of cathode rays. So we are supplying high voltage. Beginning this metal plate, it loses some electrons. Some electrons are coming out from this metal plate. And here we are maintaining a less amount of gas also. We may maintain mixed gases or individual gases, so any kind of gas we may maintain. These electrons, these are moving with high speed. These electrons strikes the gaseous molecule. And that gaseous molecule also may loses one or more electrons. Those electrons, metal lost electrons and this gaseous atom lost electrons, all together construct the cathode rays. So here origin of cathode rays is first metal, and then the gas which is used in the discharge tube, together construct the cathode rays. Now come to the anode rays. Same here also, experiment is same. But in discharge tube, we are maintaining only one kind of gas, either hydrogen or nitrogen or oxygen. One kind of gas we need to use in the discovery of proton. So in this experiment also, high voltage is connected between the electrodes. Here gas also maintaining at low pressure. First, some cathode rays are produced because of supplying high voltage. Cathode rays are produced. Those cathode rays are always moving from cathode left to right, or cathode side to anode side. This is the anode plate, cathode plate. Now we are taking perforated cathode. So now cathode having some holes, and behind of this cathode on glass wall coated with fluorescent material. Now some invisible rays are coming from anode side. These rays are passing through the holes of cathode and strike this glass wall. And here now observing some faint greenish color here. So this indicates here some invisible rays are coming from anode side. Those rays are called anode rays, also called as canal rays. Now we'll see what is the origin of this anode rays. Suppose in the discharge tube, I'm taking hydrogen gas. Cathode, here anode plate. No doubt by supplying high voltage, first cathode rays are produced. That cathode rays strikes this hydrogen molecule. Atomization takes place, means first hydrogen molecule first forms hydrogen atoms. And further, this hydrogen atom is followed by other cathode rays. Then here electrons are there, one electron in each atom. That electron also lost. Okay, that electron, lost electron and electrons which is produced by this metal plate, all are together constructing cathode rays, fine. But after losing electron, what is present in the hydrogen atom? Hydrogen atom have one electron. That one electron it lost. Then what is present in the hydrogen atom? What it having?
Proton.
Proton it having. What is the charge of proton? Charge of proton is?
Plus 1.
Okay, positive charge, right? Proton having positive charge. Okay. Negatively charged particles are electrons. Those are moving from this side to this side, from cathode to anode. Now, after losing electron, there is present here protons are present in the glass tube. No doubt they are moving from anode side to cathode side. Positively charged particles. So now what is the origin of anode rays? Origin of anode rays, gas or metal plate?
Yes.
Gas is the origin for anode rays. Okay, here I took hydrogen gas, fine. After losing one electron, it having only one proton. That one proton only, means in each atom one proton is there. Those protons are responsible for to construct anode rays. And if we calculate its charge, it is also giving same charge, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs only. Electron and proton both having same charge. Same, but this carries positive, electron having negative charge. If you calculate E by M ratio of proton, it gives 9.58 into 10 power 4. 9.58 into 10 power 4. This is E by M ratio. Now, if we calculate mass of proton, it is giving 1.67 into 10 power minus 24 grams. In kilograms, 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kilograms. Okay, this is when, if you take hydrogen gas, these are the values. Now, instead of hydrogen, I'm taking oxygen gas. Oxygen. O2. First cathode rays strikes the oxygen molecule, then it gives a oxygen atom. Oxygen atoms are produced. We know in oxygen atom, there are 8 electrons and 8 protons, of course 8 neutrons also present. This cathode rays strikes this oxygen atom. Maybe oxygen atom loses 2 electrons or 1 electron or 3 electrons, but no doubt it won't lose all the electrons, mind that point. Here we are supplying 10,000 voltage, maybe it loses 2 electrons or 3 electrons, but it won't lose all the electrons. Okay, it lost the 2 electrons, it formed O2 plus now. O2 plus. So this last 2 electron and metal also producing electrons, those all together construct the cathode rays. Now O2 plus, it having the more mass than single proton, no? Single proton, it is produced by hydrogen atom. But now O2 plus, how much mass it having? O2 plus, how many protons it contains inside? How many protons it having? Oxygen atom. Tejaswini?
So 8.
8 protons are there. So this O2 plus this 8 protons and inside neutrons also having 8 neutrons and remaining electron all together constituting anode rays. Now these are moving from anode side to cathode side. Now is it gives the same E by M ratio as given by hydrogen? No, it won't give same E by M ratio, because here in E by M ratio for H plus, here only one proton is there and charge. This charge by only one proton mass we are taking. But in case of O2 plus, it is carrying 2 units in charge, and mass, it having the 8 protons and 8 neutrons are there. That's what overall it is giving E by M ratio, different value. So now for anode rays, E by M ratio is different for different gases. And the charge carried by anode rays is a multiple of charge carried by electron. So suppose O2 2 plus, it is carrying 2 units, means just 2 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. Here the charge carried by the anode rays, that is a multiple of some number, whole number. And mass also, it is giving multiple of this number, 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kilograms. Multiple, it is actually giving 16 multiples, 16 into this value. So it indicates it having the beginning, they thought it having a 16 proton, but it's not correct. Later it was corrected by another scientist. It is giving 16 units, means that is not because of all 16 protons. That is because of 8 protons and remaining 8 neutrons. Okay, this was corrected later. But anyhow, you need to mind it. E by M ratio for protons is not constant. For only hydrogen giving this value. For other gases, it is different. But electron maintaining always constant E by M ratio value. And if you see property same, it is also traveling in straight line in the path of anode rays. If you place any object, it also forms shadow. And in the electric field, these anode rays are deflected towards cathode plate side. It means anode rays are carrying positive charge. And this also causes heating effect, and these also penetrate through thin foils, and it also causes gas ionization. But compared to cathode rays, anode rays are travel slowly. Anybody can tell reason here? Velocity of anode rays is slower than cathode rays. Simple reason here.
Because their mass is heavier.
Very good. They're having higher mass. Cathode rays is only constructed by single electron. Electron mass we are neglecting, you know that. But here anode rays are constructed by proton, not one proton. If you see here, oxygen O2 plus completely constructing the anode rays, means it is having a very high mass. That's what it is moving very slowly. Now we'll see atomic models. Okay, neutron was discovered by the scientist Chadwick. Proton was discovered by Goldstein. See, small concept, how to discover neutrons. So this is the lead block, inside keeping some radioactive element. Here photographic plate, not visible. So spontaneously radioactive elements. Radioactivity means it's a spontaneous emission of radiation. So we no need to supply any energy itself. It is giving radiations. So here applied some electric field also.